tuning in to another Pineapple Bytes video training session. In this video training session, we're going to review a couple different ways that you can use some network utilities to determine whether or not you may have connection issues with a POS device on your network, as well to see if the POS device is even on the network, or so you can be able to identify what other devices are on your network at all by doing a scan. A couple different utilities that we like to use are Advanced IP Scanner and the Windows utility called Ping. The first one we'll review is the Advanced IP Scanner. It's a free download. Just go to your internet browser and go to advanced-ip-scanner.com. You'll see this. Just click on the free download button here. Start the download of the software. It's really small. So just wait until this finishes here. And we'll open this program up, run it. It's going to ask you your language. We'll just pick English. For selecting the action, now you can either install this program or you can run it. I usually just like to install it. It's a very small platform piece of software, so it's not going to take up a lot of room at all. And it's good utility to always have on your computer. So we're just going to click install and hit next. We'll accept the agreement and hit install again. And then we'll flag run advanced IP scanner. So if we hit finish here, it's going to go ahead and open up the advanced IP scanner program. And we'll just make this a full screen here. Now you can see right here, it's going to list your current IP address of your network card. So the current IP of this network card is 10.100.101.100. So it's going to pick up that full entire range. So it's going to do .1 to 254. So it's going to scan that entire range of IPs to identify what machines or devices it finds on the network. So we'll go ahead and hit the scan button here. And it's going to go out and basically pull the network and see what devices it can find that may be associated to that IP range that is selected right here. So we can let this go. It will take a little bit to go through everything. You have your progress bar down here on the bottom. It also says your percentage listed here in the corner. It's almost done. Just about. So just while that finishes up there, we can go through some of the things that it has found during its scan. You can see that it's finished up there now. So it shows 10 alive, 2 dead, and 242 unknown. So the 10 alive basically means it found 10 devices that are currently on the network and active. The 2 dead means that at some point in time, there was a device on the network, but it's currently either offline or just not available to be able to be accessed. And 242 means that there's 242 IP addresses out there that it's identified nothing on, so it doesn't pick up anything on those IPs. So you can kind of see here, typically at the beginning, at the top, this is our D-Link router. So you can see this is our gateway. This is the device we're using for our internet, and our router we use for our point of sale system. So it lists the manufacturer here along with the MAC address and the IP of that device. You can see here if we start listing down, we have a device called 10.100.101.53. We know it's a Radiant Systems device. We also have the Aloha BOH, which is this computer here. And then it's going to start listing our POS terminals, term 1, term 2, term 3, term 5. So this is a good indication to be able to see, okay, what terminals are currently on my network and active, and I'm able to access them. So if for some reason one of your POS terminals isn't communicating with the rest of the network, you can do an advanced IP scan using this program from the back office computer and kind of see if it's being detected at all in the network. If it's not being detected at all in the network, then generally that's usually a cabling issue, a wire issue, an Ethernet card issue, like a hardware issue of the terminal. Or it could just be as simple as the terminal needs to be rebooted or maybe has a loose cable. So a couple things you can check there. It also allows us to be able to identify, what else is on that network. Typically with your point of sale network, you kind of want to keep everything segregated. So you don't want like guest Wi-Fi and, people's phones connecting to the POS. Any office computers and stuff should generally be on another subnet, so it's not on the same range. So this program allows us basically to kind of get a quick snapshot of what we're dealing with on a customer's network. So you can see here, 2, 3, and 5 are online right now. Term 1, it looks like it was at some point, but it's not currently. These two here, whenever you see Psycho Epson Corporation, these are generally network printers. So these would be like your kitchen chit printers or your bar chit printers. And then you got Radiant Systems down here, which in this particular example, we have a couple other Radiant NCR devices on there that are being picked up as well. So it's a very good way to be able to do a quick scan of the network to see what's currently on the network and what IP it has. Another tool that we like to use to identify any connectivity issues or to see if something is present on the network is just the simple Windows command called ping. So the way you can run this, in this particular operating system, it's Windows 10, but you click down here on the Windows Start button, and you could simply type in CMD, and it's going to come up and ask command prompt. So we're going to go ahead and we can select this. You can either hit open, you can click on it, or run as administrator. So we'll just open this up here. It's going to bring you to this black window. So now what you can do is you can type PING, and then you can type the name of the computer you're looking to send a ping command to. So generally speaking, our POS terminals are typically always named term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, and so on. So if we want to do a ping to see if, let's say terminal 1, for instance, to see if it's replying and if it's on the network, we can do a ping space TRM term 1, and then go ahead and hit enter. Now what that's going to do is it's going to go out and see if it can communicate to that terminal. You can see here we have a ping request could not find the host term 1. Please check the name and try again. So we know that it's not getting a reply from that terminal. So there's definitely a network issue there where we're dealing with that terminal. So we can look further into maybe identifying what that actual issue is. We can also, if for some reason you're not getting a reply, but you know the IP address of the terminal, you can also ping by IP. So we could do PING space 10.100.101.101. We know that's the IP of that terminal. We can go ahead and hit enter. And what that's going to do is it's going to go out and try to ping that IP address. And you can see here it's giving destination host unreachable. So nothing on that IP address is coming back with a reply. So you can see here our packet center 4, received 4, lost 0. So basically it's not saying it lost anything, but since you have destination host unreachable and it's not actually getting a reply, you can see here it also shows the IP address is 100. And that's the IP address of this computer. It's not the IP address of what we're trying to ping. So we know that we're not getting a correct reply with that address. So we could definitely know that we got to go look to see why that's not communicating correctly on the network. An example of one that replies fine would be if we go ping and we do term 5, because I know that that's online. I can go ahead and hit enter. And you're going to now see that it's replying. So you could see reply from, and then it has the correct IP address that we've been pinging. It shows your bytes, your time, and your TTL. and it got a reply for all 4 times that I tried the ping. So now you can see here we got sent 4, received 4, lost 0. So this is a perfect reply and a ping. So we know that this particular terminal is communicating correctly over the network. A couple different commands you can use with ping as well as you can use ping and then the name of the computer, and you can do a space for dash n and then a number that you want to ping. So this will say ping this terminal 10 times. If you want to ping it 20, you would just do dash n space 20. So we can go ahead and hit enter on that. And it's got to go ahead and ping this 10 times instead of the default 4. So that's a good idea to use too if maybe you want to, okay, let's send 100 pings to a computer to see if it drops at all within those 100 pings. You can do that. The other thing is to do a continuous ping. You can do a ping, the name of the computer, space, dash, lowercase t, and that will mean ping it forever until we stop it. So we like to use this command a lot if a client is calling in and you may have an issue with, the terminal's dropping offline, or it comes up and works for a little bit and then it drops to cannot locate file server or cannot locate master terminal, or it's freezing up sometimes and then it's coming back and working in seconds afterwards. You want to open up a window and do a continuous ping to that computer and just let it keep going, and watch that ping to see if at any point it drops and doesn't get a reply. If it times out, then you have definitely something going on with the network communication that needs to be fixed. Typically, the pings should be consistent and it should always get a reply from that device. If it starts timing out, then you got a network problem, which can cause the terminal to freeze. It can cause the terminal to drop offline. So you'll definitely want to make sure you get that fixed. To stop this command window here of pinging, we can either close it with the X, or on your keyboard you can hit the control button and then hold that down and then hit C for Charlie, and that's got to go ahead and stop that ping there as well. So there's a couple different utilities that we like to use often to be able to troubleshoot and determine some network connectivity issues. Feel free to go ahead and use those in your own business to kind of help you troubleshoot and get a little further with maybe identifying where your issues may lie. Thank you for tuning in to another Pineapple Bytes video training session, and have a great day.